Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to Car Musings, and hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. How is everybody doing today? How's everybody doing on this wondrous day? You know, it's interesting time, interesting time. If you see everything that's been going on in the world, it makes you kind of wonder about what the hell's going on. And, every single day you wake up, you never know what kind of chaos is going to be happening again. It's just kind of like up in the air, right? It's like, is it going to be craziness? Is it going to be aliens? Is it going to? Who knows what it's going to be these days? Anyways, I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Car Musings. How's everybody doing? How's your integrity today? Is the question. You know, as you all know, for those who've been following along, and some of you that are listening in only for their amusement or education or whatever your reason is for listening in. Thank you very much for being here. You know, who knows if my thoughts or nuggets of wisdom or rantings and ravings and venting or even knowledge to share with you is going to be beneficial. But if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. But either way, again, thank you for tuning in. You know, as much as I put this out there, trying to understand human nature, trying to understand why people are the way they are, think the way they do. I mean, heaven forbid should you have a voice, and I usually get criticized myself because, you know, of of my opinions. Because heaven forbid should you, think about something on your own versus the collective, and have free independent thought, which, as we know in history, has been persecuted. You know, and obviously it hasn't changed in today's society where you still get persecuted for having a voice, whether it's constructive, whether it's not. If you go against the grain, if you go against the status quo, it's like, okay, well, you just can't do that. That's just wrong. That's just, no. It's frowned upon. How dare you have independent thought against the collective? Eh, it is what it is. You got to be who you're going to be. So, I guess in today's episode, what am I going to talk about today? And I think what my today's episode is basically along the lines of have your voice. Have your voice. Use your voice. Now, when I mean have your voice, use your voice, I don't mean in a selfish manner. I don't mean in a self-serving manner. I don't mean just to hear the sound of your voice. I mean have something to say if you're going to have something to say, right? Now, whether if it's just a collective a ramble of thoughts and everything else, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. If you just have random thoughts, put your thoughts out there. Have your thoughts be heard, whether or not it's just for your own self to have said them, to put them out in the universe, whether or not they fall on the ears of individuals that could be benefited from them, learn from them. Whatever the reasoning is behind it, it's your words, use them. You never know where change is going to come. You never know what can influence the next level of evolution. You never know what could be the biggest thing that could help a person, help a people, help a society. But if you leave that bottled up inside because you're worried about persecution, if you're worried about the criticism, that you're worried so much about what everyone else thinks, do you ever think that the majority is what the problem is? Because they have no individual thoughts, because they don't have any sort of new way of seeing things, they don't have any visions, any grand designs, any grand ideas. They're stuck in the same rut over and over again. How is that beneficial? Because I don't know. Because if you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. So unless you have those individuals that actually have those thoughts and actually have those great ideas, you will never know what new stuff could be done, new ways could be done. It's amazing. I always sit there and I wonder, well, you know, why do people always seem to think the same thing? It's like they're all convinced. They're all convinced that there's only one way to do things. Well, that doesn't speak for innovation. That doesn't speak for evolution. That doesn't speak for advancement. It's like, as I keep making a reference, sheep. Sheep following the herd, falling off the cliff. It's incredible. It's incredible. And you wonder. You wonder. I know I wonder. I sit there and try to figure out, why are you all following the same ideas, the same ideals, the same viewpoints, the same of everything? Sorry, but that doesn't get you anywhere. That just gets you the same thing over and over and over again. So, use your voice. Say it loud, say it proud. Whether or not you put it in print, whether or not you put it, you know, in any form of social media, whether or not you just make recordings at home for, the next generation, or prosperity, or, as a diary. As long as you take the time, in some regards, to actually make note of your thoughts and your viewpoints and everything else, it is not lost at all. And it's important. It's important. Not just for your immediate self, but it's important to have that put somewhere. Put it under lock and key if you're worried about the criticism. Lock it up in a drawer. Put it in a safe. It doesn't matter. But do yourself a favor. At least have had the opportunity to let that level of yourself be expressed in one capacity or another. I'm not saying it's going to be welcomed. I'm not saying it's going to be embraced. I'm not saying it's going to be anything of, value in other people's eyes. But I bet you it's of value to you. So I'd say, express it. Put it somewhere. Because when your days have come and gone, do you want that to be lost? Do you want to have the regret of never expressing yourself in that regards? Do you want to, you know, have that discussion with you? Oh, I should have said more. I should have taken a stand on this. I should have voiced myself on this, and I should have expressed myself on this, and I should have said these words. No, you don't want that regret. You don't want that regret. So, do yourself a favor. Use your voice. As I said, it doesn't have to be vocal, but use your voice in one capacity or another. Do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Do the next generation a favor. But just do it. I don't know. I often sit there and I wonder, about things. I often sit there and wonder, the state of mind of things, as you know, how people are. And it just baffles me of how the world goes, But do yourself a favor. Do everyone else a favor. Do that. Have a voice. Use it. Have a voice. Use it. I don't regret it. As much as I try to put a degree of separation, between my everyday to my podcasts and my media and everything else. It's inevitable that people are creative. People could follow breadcrumbs and everything else and figure it out. But at least I'm making an effort Whereas a lot of people don't make the effort because they are worried about that. They are worried about expressing themselves and it affecting them on the day to day, right? The day to day. And you know that's a concern. That is a concern. But you really gotta own what you put out there. You do. Nothing wrong with it. It's thoughts. It's not actions. It's ideas. It's words. But it's nothing that's set in stone. It's nothing that you've set forth in motion. It's basically you're vocalizing in one regards or another thoughts that go through your head. And we all have thoughts. You know, we all have thoughts. We all have ideas. We all have stuff that we actually think to ourselves and keep to ourselves. Only because we know for a fact that society will not accept these things. For whatever reason. You know, generally it's just arrogance and ignorance. It's basically they don't want to, you know, they don't know how to comprehend the free thought of people. So, you know, they have a tendency to just condemn it when somebody expresses themselves because oh that's not the norm, oh my god, oh that's crazy talk. Is it really crazy talk? Listen, there's a few things about human nature that if you're not aware, let me make you aware. If somebody's going to do something, they're going to just do it. They're not going to talk about it, they're not going to announce it. If they are dead set, focused and dedicated on a certain outcome, they will not talk about it. They will not announce it. They will just do it. Okay? There'll be no indications when it comes to somebody that is on a mission and is set to doing something. So keep that in mind. The difference between words and actions, right? A lot of people talk a lot of shit about a lot of things, and that could be subjected to day to day. That could be subjected week to week. That could be basically something that is just completely out of left field, thought for the day, and then the opinions change the next day, right? Yeah, one day we feel like this. Oh, tomorrow we don't feel like that so much. But you said that yesterday. Well, okay. People say a lot of things. A lot of things. But whether or not it's something that they truly feel, in the moment they do. Unless they put it in actions. But the thing is, though, is that thoughts are what promote other things. They promote ideas and concepts and innovation and, you know, they promote a lot of other good things which can inspire other people. Good and bad. Yeah, good and bad. But as I said, if somebody's going to do something, they're not going to talk about it. They're just going to do it. Oh, but you inspired the wrong thing. Okay. Who's to say what one person's words inspired in somebody else? I'm pretty sure, as I said before, if somebody had an intention to do something, they'll just do it. End of story. Okay? There's not going to be any of this talk. There's just going to be action. So just keep that in mind before you start, getting your panties in a bunch on stuff. So just do yourself a favor. Do everyone else a favor. Get it out there. Get it documented. Use your voice. Say what you need to say. And be happy that you did. I am. I'm happy every day. I stand behind every single word I've said in every single form of media, whether it be video, whether it be podcast, whether it be articles. I stand behind it all. And as much people would say, oh, don't do that. Why? Why? I don't understand why. You're going to criticize somebody for creative thoughts, creative writing? Like, I don't understand the concept of that. That just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you condemn somebody for a mere thought, a mere emotional outburst. It doesn't make sense to me. Why that would be something that would play a factor. And there's nothing wrong with having the voice, especially when the person that's actually, expressing themselves is taking it upon themselves. Oh yeah, I know. I get criticized a lot. Well, you know, you have a stage name, you have a persona. Okay. And if I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old can connect the dots, when it comes to all that. And the reason I do that is basically just to protect my family. To put a distance between myself and people that are so arrogant and ignorant that they can never understand the viewpoints of somebody that's trying to make a difference in the world, trying to make the world a better place. But they can't understand that. So they're going to condemn you. They're going to criticize you. They're going to completely smush you. They're going to do whatever they can to quiet you because, oh no, that's rebellion. That's rebellion. You're trying to change the world. We can't have that. So yeah, you kind of have to put a little level of distance between yourself and that idea, that concept, that thoughts, that expression, those words. You kind of have to because of the level of arrogance and ignorance in the world these days. It's a shame that you have to. Heaven forbid should you actually express yourself freely and openly. You can't do that. That's just wrong. Do you not see how all this is stupid? You listening right now, think about this. I know who a lot of my audience is. I'm not naive to it. Some of them made it really point blank, making it seem like they're all smart and crafty. That, oh, they found me. They've connected the dots. They've followed the breadcrumbs. They want me to know that, oh, your secret's no longer a secret. Fuck you. I don't care. And the individual, I got listeners that, yeah, I know who they are. And I'm not naive to the fact that, they're there because rather than stay silent, they wanted to throw it in my face to go, oh, yeah, yeah, see, I know it's you, okay, kudos to you. You know how I feel. And, in reference to that, you probably know how I feel about you as well. So if you didn't do enough inward, I don't know, evaluation, maybe you should. And the individuals I know that are listening, you should get some therapy. You should do some inward evaluation. Your shit does stink, and you're not as perfect as you think you are. So you really might want to consider some changes and stuff because there will come people that are not as tolerant as others, and it will have a different effect. It really will. It really will. I know my worth. I know my value. I know my moral compass, right? But the question is, do you? Now, a couple of individuals come to mind that I know have no moral compass. They have no scruples. They're self serving. And I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. I feel pity for them, empathy for them. I shouldn't, you know, but I do because what a lonely existence that is. To throw away something good, throw away something pure for stupid reasons, stupid reasons at the end of the day. It just baffles me. It just doesn't make sense. But again, as I said, I have a voice. I'm going to express it. And I'm not going to stop expressing it. And you might not agree with me. That's fine. That's up to you. It's not going to change the way I feel. Is it wrong? I don't know. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong to expose people. I don't think it's wrong to shine some light in the dark corners of the people that are in such positions that they govern good people's fates and condemn them for being different. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Certain people should not have certain powers. Certain people should not be in certain positions. Certain people frankly, I don't know. I just don't think that, certain people have a right to be able to dictate better people on how things go for them. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, enough of my babbling on that one. Hey, you know what? If you're here for your laughs, you're here to ridicule me. If you're here to listen in to, oh well, blah blah blah, listen to this Mad Morgan episode, blah blah blah. All right, that's fine. Go ahead, go ahead. I welcome you. Fine, gives me listenership, gives me viewership, whatever the case may be. Hey, while you're at it, all the fucking underhanded behaviors that some of you have done, because there are some of you that are unscrupulous and have no sense of the word integrity. You know what? You fucked people over, which made you wealthy, which gave you money. Why don't you give back to the people that you fucked over? There's an idea. Please check out themadmorgan.com, where you can make that donation in multiple forms to try to give back to the people you helped fuck over. Because I'm not going to give up on my viewpoints of things, because I'm not hurting anybody. I have people that enjoy my banter, enjoy my viewpoints, enjoy what I put out there. I'm not going to stop, because why should I? What am I doing wrong? I've inspired people, I've helped people, I've been therapeutic to people. I've selflessly put out my episodes, my shows at my own expense, all right? Not just time, but also financially, in order to do what I do. So, no selfishness in that. I'm not promoting ads, I'm not promoting products, I'm not doing any of that stuff. So, ask yourself, because I know you've had that question, why do you do what you do, Mad Morgan? Well, I've explained this time and time again why I do this, and that's to promote a positive change in the world. And that's my contribution. What's your contribution? Ask yourself that. And when you figure out what your contribution can be, again, you have a voice, use it. That's my suggestion. Use your own voice. Speak passionately about something that you feel, your thoughts. That's all you got to do. Share it with the world. Don't let it be lost in time. It's fleeting. It goes by so fast, you know. And I'm hoping that if enough people express themselves, we'll open up the lines of communication. We will open up the lines of communication in society and in this world of ours and in this planet. And all those people that are stopping being afraid of expressing themselves and stop worried about what they say, and they share this information and this communication, and they start communicating better and more. My hope is, with that level of expression and communication, this leads the world to peace, where we can abolish all the bad elements of society which hold us back from being an amazing world, right? We can deal with hate, we can deal with crime, we can deal with poverty, we can deal with civil injustice, we can deal with all this stuff, because that's my hope. This is why I do what I do. This is why part and parcel of why I do my podcast, to open up the lines of communication and thinking to promote a better world. If you haven't fucking figured that out by now, how dense are you? Because that's why I'm here. So how are you going to use your voice? Constructively, peacefully, unselfishly. I'll let you think about that one. I'll let you think about that one, how you're going to do that. I know for my fact, well, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. And better people than you have fucking tried to silence me. But I'm a survivor. I grew up with a fucking rough go. I learned to be a survivor at a young age. I mean, young age, fucking 4 or 5 years old. I was hit the ground running if I can have to survive on my own. I can do it a lot longer. So, you know, come at me, bro. Come at me. You've done a lot of shit at this point. Good fucking luck moving forward. But remember, every person has their limits. Just don't be the end of the limits for some people, because there's only so much tolerance in this world. Anyways, love you for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Um, hey, keep your integrity in check, and check out the madmorgan.com if you would. I made some changes, made some corrections. Once in a while, as I said, I gotta poke my head in there and make sure everything's good. But so far, so good. And again, don't stop the emails. Reach out to me, DMs, whatever. Let me know if there's any ideas you have, problems you see on the site, ideas you have for what I should be doing next, whether it be podcast ideas, whether it be different forms of media, whatever. I love your ideas. Keep them coming. All right. Love you for it. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. You're listening to another episode of Car Musings. Thanks for being here. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next episode. Bye for now.